Welcome to Big Red Leads. I'm Big Red, getting you and your business back to the black. How's everybody doing today? Hope everyone is well out there. What we are talking about today, and this is the question that is probably going to get, I don't even want to say it like that, but are you a psychopath? Do you engage in narcissistic behavior? Do you engage in psychopathic behavior? And what we're pertaining this to is sexuality, or better yet, impulsive behavior. Young men have a tendency or a proclivity to engage in the activity of more or less one night stands. Now, here's the funny part. Today, a lot of young men don't understand this, and a lot of young men aren't sexually active, not by choice, but by circumstance. What do I mean by that? They're not actually engaging in social activities when it comes to the opposite sex. Here's the scarier part. More and more young women are engaging in this type of behavior. Now, when I was coming up as a teenager, going into young adulthood, I can honestly say, looking back on it, I impulsively behaved that way. I'm tall, I'm handsome, I'm charming, I can speak to women, I can have a conversation with anyone, I can engage with older women at that time. Look, I am what you call an attractive male. I am the tall, dark, and handsome, if you will, in that sense. And I want you to understand where I'm going with this. I'm over 6 foot tall. At that time, I was quite muscular. I can pretty much do whatever it is I wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it. And I acted on impulses and not thinking it through. Here's where I was contradicting myself. I wanted a long-term relationship. I wanted what my grandfather has. I wanted to be married for 40, 50 years. Here is where being actively outside is different than today. There was no such thing as screen time. We've all heard the term screen time. Well, if you think about it, what are a lot of young men engaging in today? Well, we have social media today. We didn't have social media when I was coming up. So, you had to actually go out and talk to girls. You actually had to go out with your friends and meet girls. You had to actually go outside and engage. If there was something outside of your actual reach, you had to go and get it. Information, the library, you had to go and get it. You know, we did have internet, so that there were things on the internet where if you wanted to research something, you actually had to go to the library unless you had a computer at home, where you actually had to go get the information. Here's the problem with what's going on today. Less and less individuals are engaging in simple conversation, basic conversation, greetings, saying hello to a stranger, asking someone how they are doing. Like, you would not believe, when I go places, I give you a perfect example. This happened yesterday. This young man, he works at the gas station that is close to my house. I talked to him. Matter of fact, there's several young people who work in this particular store. They know me because I'm in there probably once, maybe twice a week. They even call me Unc and OG when I come in. So a lot of these young men are between the ages of 18 to 24. A lot of the women in there between around the same ages. When they see me, they have questions. They have life questions that I had someone when I was their age that I could go to and get the information from directly. Like, now, I don't know where their parents are. I don't know them on that level. I know a few of them a little deeper than the surface level than what we're talking about. How does this relate to today? Everything that they ask me about is either how to keep a boyfriend or how to keep a girlfriend, depending on which sex is asking me. Now, what do you engage in as far as business? So they ask me business questions. They ask me e-commerce questions. They're asking me questions on how to get into real estate. They are asking and seeking information. And here's the thing. I try to lead them as much. I've given more books to that young group up there at this gas station than I have given out to even students, clients, and friends. This is what's crazy. So these are young people who are seeking this type of information. This young man is telling me about all the circumstances that he's dealing with, how he's basically the head of household in his mother's house. He's still living with his mother. This young man is 19 years old. He's telling me about the circumstances that he's dealing with. Mind you, every time I see him at the store, he's engaged on his phone looking at pictures of girls. If he's not watching porn. Now, I'm not trying to get him fired, so that's why I'm not saying his name. But what I'm simply getting at is it is easier to engage in porn for a young person today than it is to actually speak to a girl or a guy. And you think these numbers are going to go down? No. Ever since 2020, that particular time around the globe, when everything was shut down, this particular activity has gotten worse. It's gone down. It's not quite the same. So, do you think that does not have a psychological effect on somebody who's already participating in the non-active activities of going outside and engaging with others, having conversations? And when they do have conversations, their conversations are so basic that no one would get to know each other if they did not speak at all. And here's the funny part. I've actually seen this up close and personal with my oldest boy. Him and his friends sitting in the living room texting each other in my house, sitting on the same couch while a movie is playing. Turn the movie off and just engage in conversations. That's why there's a rule in my house that when young people of a certain age come over, they put their phones in the little bin. I have a little candy dish and a bin for people to put their phone at. I'm simply saying we're going to engage in conversations. If I'm not in my office, or if I'm not in the living room, or no, let me rephrase that. If I'm not in my bedroom, or if I'm not in the office, I'm in the living room with these young people, and they're going to talk. What does that do? Understand, my oldest son is very charming. He looks very much like me. Now, I was on him from a very young age about engaging with others. Now, he's still shy in his own way, but here's the thing, he can hold a conversation with a person twice or three times his age. What I'm simply saying is there's something missing from that activity. The definition of a psychopath is someone who uses someone else for their own personal pleasure in that short period of time. So if you're engaging in these one-night stands, if you're out here living that cavalier lifestyle, as my grandfather would call it, understand what you are subjecting yourself to. How does that change? What you practice is what you become. So I want you to think about the paradigms that these young people are putting themselves in. Because here's the thing. Everyone wants to say it's this, they blame it. No, it's on the individual. Are you making a conscious decision on what you choose to engage in? That's why being in a relationship, hopefully a healthy one, is more beneficial for both parties, the woman and the man. That's why I say it's very dangerous right now. I'm just going to keep an eye on this data because, like I said, more young ladies are engaging in this similar behavior. It's not a huge number, but it's a nice percentage of young women who are engaged in this behavior. This is why there are a lot of people between the ages of 18 to 25 who are just as depressed as somebody, a younger teenager, who's going through all the crazy, crazy, crazy hormonal changes that exist for all of us. Your voice changes, like there's certain things that happen to you as a teenager that in that particular, like there's like between you're talking about your very, very, very young age where you have, what's one of your biggest growth spurts mentally as well as physically, and then you hit your teenage years, your pubescent years, you go through another change as far as you might start having facial hair, you might start having to shave, you might have to, like ladies, y'all can mention the things that y'all go through. But what I'm simply getting at is with all this change coming and all these things staying the same, this particular activity is not something to engage in. You are what you practice. So if you're not practicing anything in personal development and growth, you are dying. That's the nicest way I'm saying it. You are dying. Not you as the individual, but mentally, you are dying. If you're not growing, what are you doing? That's anything. That's anything on the planet. A tree, a plant, a flower. The day you stop growing, the day you stop developing, whether here, or physically, is the day that it's over. So, engaging in that is not beneficial. That particular type of activity is not beneficial. How do you get out of it? Well, glad you asked that. I would say this. Put yourself in situations where you are not comfortable, where you have no choice. You have no choice but to grow or lay down. Read some books on psychology. Read some books on paradigms. Read some books on routines. Read some books on personal growth. Read some books on mental health, mental awareness, physical awareness. Understand your body. Understand what your body needs. Look into business. Look into whatever it is that you find along that route will help you and keep you expanding so that each circle, if you're like an onion, each ring of the onion is another layer added to you, benefiting you in every single way. Not only does it benefit you, but it benefits everyone around you. Those people who truly say that they're down with you, they'll be with you when times are bad, when times are great. And having that mental stability to where you're not fluctuating all the time and every single emotion and feeling becomes who you are. If I hear somebody, oh my God, if I hear somebody say, oh, well, you don't understand how I feel. I might not. But I know you are not that emotion at that time. You are feeling and experiencing that emotion. That does not define who you are. Just like your circumstance does not define who you are. But if you engage in quote unquote deviant activity and behavior, and that's what you practice, it's going to cause more damage than good. Know the difference. Love you all. I'm about to go outside, get some sunshine. What I'm simply saying to you is, I want you to think about the activities that you engage in. And if you fall into that category of sadistic, narcissistic, Machiavellian, psychopathic behavior, and you have to use others for your own short-term desires to get that lowest level root chakra energy off, running around with baby batter on your brain, understand, if you engage in that too long, it will be a part of you, and you will put yourself back years mentally, emotionally. Have a good one, my friends. Love you all. This is Big Red signing off. We got a lot of growing to do. We got a lot of growing to do.